we'll go through the meaning of these five. Today we'll finish off this chapter. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. So this chapter doesn't actually end. The conversation continues. The last verse of this chapter, then after that Arjuna again asks questions in the next chapter. So it kind of continues, right? But this is like a logical closure coming to a conversation here. So previously, if you recognize, Krishna stopped with saying, I am through my yoga maya, everything that you perceive, you don't perceive the real me. It is because of my maya that you perceive this illusion, right? It is a maya that is created, and that is where we are. Our perception of the truth is uh, covered. Avarna. The term that is used is avarna. Maya has uh, two shakti, two shaktis, avarna shakti and vikshepa shakti. Avarna shakti is to conceal the truth. Vikshepa shakti is to project the untruth. So Maya does both. It covers what is the truth and projects something else which is untruth. Okay. So which is how we perceive the world. When we see the world, you don't see atoms and molecules, you don't see waves, we don't see any of that. We see solid objects. We see solid trees and plants and wood and metal and objects and all of that we see as solid. We don't see the atoms and molecules and the electrons and protons and all that. We don't see all that. Why? Because that is concealed from our perception. If you go into the quantum level, we will see all that. But at this level, at this physical reality level of reality, what we perceive is an illusion. It is like a cloth. For example, if I have a cloth, this cloth, I see it as solid cloth, right? But if you go close enough, you will see it threads. You will see only threads, right? How close enough you go and observe, that level of reality becomes available to us. So when we see, so it's a mesh. A cloth is a mesh of threads going in all directions, right? So you don't perceive the threads, you see a cloth. So it's like that. When we perceive the world, we see all of these beautiful colors and objects and things and people and everything. But fundamentally, it's made up of very basic fundamental particles, fundamental elements, fundamental energy, and there is consciousness. This is not visible to us because we are observing it from a certain level of reality. But assuming you were made as small as an atom. There are these movies, scientific fiction movies that are made, right, where the person becomes very small as an atom. Yes, Mama?
இந்த மாயா அது ரெண்டு சக்தி அது முன்னாடி சொல்லுங்க அது சான்ஸ்கிரிட் வேர்ட்
One is avarana shakti, which is the power to conceal the truth. Then vikshepa shakti. Vikshepa is to project. Vikshepa. It projects the untruth.
Thank you.
So like that, so there are scientific fiction movies you've seen, right? Science fiction movies where they can become very small like an atom. So if you become so small, then the world that you perceive is very different. It is not like this. And if you study quantum physics and all, you will understand that there is nothing as reality there. Everything is a probability only. So even science tries to present a lot of things that it comes very close to the scriptural understanding of what is consciousness. When science goes deeper and deeper in terms of understanding that matter is not existing in the way it is perceived, it exists as a probability and it gets materialized based on a certain will. So materialization occurs at every instant in time. So that materialization is not fixed upfront. It is a probability, and the probability gets revealed. That is why they say we can create our future. You can create what you want. Why? Because when you think and with enough intention and focus, we have the ability to manifest. And this is what quantum physics also says, that matter at the most fundamental level is a wave. Wave means it's a probability. It doesn't say matter exists as a solid matter, it says it's a probability. It manifests itself as matter in this physical reality depending on various factors. But yogis have figured out a way that they can control the probability and manifest what they want. Okay? So here he's saying, I know of my past, present, and future. Vedaham aham Veda. I know samatitani. I know the bhuta, the pa, which is samatitani, vartamana, and bhavishya. I know all this, but the I know the past, present, and future of myself and the whole of creation, which means I am existing in this present, ever living present. This is what it means. I am always in this ever living present. But nobody knows me. He says, no one knows me. Mam tu vedana kaschana. Nobody knows me. Which means nobody knows me means, of course, there are yogis who know Bhagavan. There are self-realized um, exalted beings who know Bhagavan. It's not nobody knows me here means um, it's he is not known as an object which is separate. You cannot know Bhagavan as a separate object. You can only know, if it's like saying Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The moment you know Brahman, which means, or if you say that I know Brahman means I am Brahman. This is the only space where if you say I understand consciousness, I know what is consciousness, means you are that. Because the whole conversation here is about the subject, it is not an object. So no one knows me as an object. No one can know me as an object. Right? So Bhagavan is saying, which means this consciousness is ever present consciousness, and it cannot be known as an object because it is the subject that is trying to know it. The knower, the one who's trying to know it, the knower himself or herself is the same consciousness that he's trying to know. You've looked at this example. It's like the torchlight trying to locate the same torch from where the light is coming. How's logically it doesn't make sense, right? You if you there is a torch light in the room, and the only way to know is by deducing, saying that, oh, there is light coming from here, so it's possibly coming from a torch, and hence this is the torch. It's only by means of introspection and going to the source we can know the source, and then you know that this is the source, this is where it is. You can't use the torch that in the same way you use the torch to look at things in the world. In the same way you use the mind to locate objects and understand objects in the world, you can't use it in the same way to know yourself because it's the subject. Okay, all right. Next, 27th. इच्छाद्वेष समुत्थेन द्वंद्व मोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहम सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. So he says, oh Arjuna, the dualities of desire and aversion rise from illusion. So in the previous verse, he spoke about illusion, Yoga Maya, in the 25th one. He is extending that here. So in the 26th, he is introducing his point saying that I am above Maya. This consciousness that is there, that is not bound by Maya. It is, Maya is a principle that comes out of this consciousness. It is only when you wake up, then you see the world. Till then, you don't. Only when you want to experience the world, then you experience the world. When you're in deep sleep, there is no experience. When you're sleeping, you're just in a resting state and you're completely in absorption, in a state of absorption. So that so to experience the world, you need Maya. To experience your own self, you don't need Maya. So he says this Maya is what we are exposed to. You're not exposed to the self which is there. And that is possible when you rise above the dualities that is produced by Maya. Maya produces Raga Dvesha, Dvandva. Raga Dvesha is called Dvandva. Dvandva means twofold. And the reason it is called Dvandva is to indicate that it's in one particular tradition, this desire is also shown as the tongue of a snake. So if you seen the tongue of a snake, it's twofold. It goes like that. So it is like the tongue of the snake. Both of them, if they come, and which is what is happening to us, we get the fangs, or the not the fangs, the tongue essentially is something that can inject poison. So Dvandva essentially is, because of this Dvandva, we are in this illusion of Maya. So if you look at Maya as this entity which provides us this expressed world, there is consciousness, there is Maya, but how does Maya operate? Through Raga Dvesha. Through Raga Dvesha. The moment you know that I like this and I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, I want to go in this direction, I don't want to go in this direction. So if I get beaten between the two sides, know that that is Maya. So he says the dualities of aversion and desire arise from this Maya, and the one, all living beings in the material are deluded. So all those who are in this material world are stuck in this only. We get beaten up by this, right? How do we get beaten up? By constantly following that. Because we are not aware, our body tells that this is what I want, so we go in this direction. Our mind tells this I don't want, we go in that direction. And there is a consciousness that is observing both. So he brings our attention to that consciousness, observers, saying that observe this, be at the source and observe these dualities. Until then, we will get beaten up by the dualities. Dvandva mohena, um, uh, you will get, uh, because of the Dvandva moha, you will be, um, because of the Dvandva moha, the Ichha Dvesha Samuthena. So Ichha Dvesha Samuthena, because of the arising of Raga Dvesha, which is the Dvandva, it creates moha, O Bharata, O Arjuna, delusion. Then Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam. Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Dridhavrataha. So those who become free from this Dvandva by engaging in Punya Karmanam. In Punya Karmanam. Those who are engaging in Punya Karma, they will rise above this Dvandva and they Bhajante Mam, they worship me with steadfastness, Dridhavrataha, complete determination, without oscillating, without an oscillation. They with focus, with determination, knowing that why will we go and pray to the Lord? We know that that is the only way out. Why do we do worship? Because we know that's the only way out. The more we engage in this is like in Hindi, it's called daldal. English it's called quicksand. There's no quicksand. If you put your feet in, the more you put effort, the more you go in. The only way to come out of the quicksand is use a rope. Somebody throws a rope from the outside, you have to pull the rope and come out. That's the only way. So this dvandva is like this quicksand. So the more we engage in this, the more we go deeper. He says the only way out is hold on to this punya karma by means of doing punya karma and uh, worshipping me. By doing the right kind of actions, the right kind of intention, and worship, constant worship with complete determination, then there is an escape. जरामरण मोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं च कर्म चाखिलम्. So those who take shelter in me, ashritya yatanti ye, who put in all the effort to take refuge in me, to get moksha from jara marana, old age and death, disease and death, old age, jara, vyadhi, marana. From this, those who want liberation, they hold on to me, they come and take refuge in me, and they work towards it. They attain to Brahman, they attain to this truth, and they get to this complete understanding of what they understand. They understand this entire cosmic, what is this Paramatma, what is this Jivatma, and what is this Jagat. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, they understand this whole field. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, there is a chapter called Kshetra, Kshetrajna Yoga. That is on the chapter, I think that chapter 13 or so. It talks about the knower and the known. So the one who is able to, with determination, hold on to me with complete faith and single pointed determination, can get through this and get to this understanding of all the three, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Guru, Ishvara, Atma iti, Ishvaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. The one who knows all the three are the same. He is a wise man. So this is the understanding he gets. And then the last verse, Sadhi Bhutadhi Daivam Mam Sadhi Yajnam Chaye Viduhu Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Vidur Yukta Chetasaha. So those who know me as the principle that governs Adi Bhuta, the field of activity, Adi Daivika, Adi, not Adi, sorry, Adi, Sa Adi Bhutam, Sa Adi Daivam, Sa Adi Yajnam. Adi Bhuta is the field of activity or the field of matter. Adi Deva is the field of Devatas or celestial beings or nature. You can look at nature as Adi Daivam. And Adi Yajnam, the field of sacrificial performances. So one is matter, one is nature, and one is activities. Right? Those who know me as this, such souls or such Atma, they are conscious of me even at the time of death. Prayana Kale api. At the time of death, they are completely absorbed in me. Okay. Now, what are these three? A question Arjuna will ask in the next chapter, and Krishna will explain what are these three separately. Right. But for now, it suffices for us to recognize that one who, when we submit ourselves in any form of activity that we do, whether we do activity as daily activities or even the sadhana that we do as an activity, we should offer that at the end of it in surrender, in a mode of surrender, which is why we always end doing anything saying Kayana Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhava. Karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayana yeti samarpayami. We offer everything to Narayana, Sadashiva, Adi Parashakti. And then in that process, when this act of surrender happens, then there is a possibility of Maya suddenly revealing, opening itself, the avarana falling off. And then there is a glimpse of the truth. Right? So it is our effort in that process, although Maya is very difficult to win over, it is our effort in the process to hold on to this with determination. Till how long? Till when? That's not even a question. For somebody who's so determined, they just keep going and going and going and going. Because the next one, the next event, the next incident, the next thing could be that, could be the one that opens up. Right? There's a very beautiful, we'll close with this one particular this thing. There is a beautiful one Swamiji in Kerala. There is an ashram by Papa Ramdas. So in that ashram, there is a Swamiji who is giving a discourse, and there is this German guy who comes every year. He's been coming there for 20 years. So he goes at the end of the discourse, he goes and asks Swamiji, I've been doing this for so many years. I don't seem to have attained it. So then he says, don't give up. He says, why Swamiji, I feel like giving up. He says, don't give up. Just imagine you are taking a nail and you're hammering it into a wall. You don't know the width of the wall, so you don't know which next hammer is going to get the nail across the wall. It could be the next one, right? So don't give up, he said that. That is a nice way of thinking, that the next one could get us across. The next incident, the next experience, the next dhyana, the next sadhana, the next pranayama that I do can give me that the fulfillment and joy. The next one can. Right? So that feeling of that surrender, we work with this. So today we'll close here. This is the close of chapter 7. And what we'll do is next week we'll chant all the shlokas, verses of chapter 7, and then move on to chapter 8. Okay? Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikayeti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurudeva. Hari Om.
Hari Om.